So we begin with some meditation. So we visualize in the space in front of us, or by first of all setting ourselves in a comfortable position in the space in front of you. Visualize the figure, our teacher, Shakyamuni Buddha, who is greatly compassionate, skilled in means. And so the particular figure or aspect of Shakyamuni Buddha that we visualize is seated in the Vajra posture, in the saffron robes of a monk. His two hands, one, the right in the earth-touching mudra, and the left holding an alms bowl in the meditative absorption mudra. And that figure is in the nature of really pure, clear light. We try to generate the certainty of the Buddha's presence in front. And then in the space around us, we visualize our parents, our relatives, close friends, those with whom we have an affinity, we are friendly towards. And then those with whom we have a difficulty with, we are unfriendly, and they are unfriendly towards us, so-called enemy. And then the neutrals, the kind of neutral beings who do not inspire any particular feeling in us one way or the other. We visualize then all of the beings of the 6 realms of existence, from the hell realms, the hungry spirit realms, the animal realms, human realms, asuras and celestial beings, and of course into the form and formless realms as well, so that we have all beings within cyclic existence are all around us. And that all of these beings that we visualize have, of course, the aspect and the sufferings relative to the particular realm in which they live. Yet they are able to cognize that with a human intelligence, but also to recall and to appreciate also the qualities of the Buddha's body, speech and mind and skillful means, and indeed, just like ourselves, is focused single-pointedly on an appreciation of those qualities.
아니 되게 다지 가서래 저 고유의 숨유의 투유의 tilleg유의라서 다만 이제 라지가 탐절을 줘 제지보다 제가 탑을 줘 그는 투지 집은 일을 몇 번 주고 배다 마다 한적이 된 적이 보다 진짜지 뭐 관계 심재 관계 이해되게 삼았어.
And it's just bringing to mind and gaining conviction in the qualities of the Buddha's body, the qualities of the Buddha's speech, the qualities of the Buddha's mind, and the Buddha's skillful means, and also the characteristics of an enlightened being completely free of all suffering in relation to themselves, skilled in means in removing the suffering of others, who is greatly compassionate and works for others without any bias, and benefits others regardless of whether they receive benefit in return. And so that ourselves and all sentient beings have that understanding and that level of comprehension of the Buddha's qualities.
아니 지금 심지어 대다탐 대도바샤자를 투발을 미게 대바 좋아 대바체 아니 저 가서 대 좋았다 가자대 더 좋아 그 좋았다 대바 이제게 대바 당에 대바 이건 되게 대바라서 봐 어때 대바 되게 이제 야체 아니 심지어를 미게 닝제 대다 동에 나서 미스베 닝제 지금 상었다.
And so we developed this faith in the Buddha, the faith of conviction, pure faith, our manifested faith, and that we are also being able to look upon all sentient beings with a mind of compassion.
심지어 대다들의 동네다 동네 주다 채나 지모를 저와 주제 저와 쇼저 저와 다가 저 대다 지는 것도 배치는 것도 섬다 다가는 저 심지어 대다 탐지 안에 가서다 동네 주다 잡아서 맞잖아 지모를 미저와 주제 미저와 다가 저 대다 지는 것도 바샤제 도 배치는 것도 심지어 대다 탐지야 일에 차단내다 저 다녀라내나 지모를 내가 주제 내가 쇼저 내가 다가 저 대다 지는 것도 배 라마
May all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. How wonderful it would be if they had happiness and the causes. May they have that happiness and its causes. I will see to it that they have. O Guru Shakyamuni Buddha, please bless me to make this so. How wonderful if all sentient beings were free from suffering and its causes. May this be the case. I will see that it is so. O Guru Shakyamuni Buddha, please bless me to make it so. How wonderful if all sentient beings were kind of the happiness that knows no suffering and the excellent bliss of liberation. May it be so. I will see to it that it is so. O Guru Shakyamuni Buddha, please bless me to make it so. How wonderful if all sentient beings could abide in equanimity, free from attachment and anger that makes brings some close and others distant. And may it be so. I will see to it that it is so. O Guru Shakyamuni Buddha, please bless me to make it so.
나방 나방이 벌어 또서 왜 갑이 나빠지 라다 심지 라다라게 타고 심지 탐저 엔지보는 뭐 쉬네 난 두세 되게 뭐 쉬네 아니 지금 다 랑게 르다 나다 이거는 다 디바다 디바 같이 싸우이다 디가도 뭐 장수 상사샤 개바도야 아니 지금 체메시 또 밖에 봐라 봐도 주제 디바다 디바 디바 아니 뭐 되는지 상사잖아
And so, next to then, as a result of our very kind of sincere and genuine supplications, the Buddha, the figure of the Buddha, emanates these 5-colored nectar lights from the heart center, with the white purifying light predominant, which descends through the crowns of myself and all sentient beings, purifying all the negativities and obscurations of body, speech, and mind, and in particular removing all the obstacles to our realizing the 4 immeasurable thoughts, and really feel that this is has happened, that has come about, and that we are clear.
다 쳐서 야고 시고 중소 다 디바데 마자네 안데도 조에게 주다 단진데서 바자도 좀 마자셔서 다 자네 야고 시고 중소 다 지금 최주변 되게는 세신과 라소베다 튼제 카리바이나 대다 단자 세신과 다다까지 지금 가서 최주변 튼제 카리바 대다 마상메와 중소다 야고 시고 중소 사사서
And that this is something really special. This is really wonderful, that having purified negativities and obscurations, and that having maybe created the mind now to facilitate the generation of a realization, and that especially to have gotten rid of the obscurations and negativities associated with self-grasping and self-cherishing. This is really something very special. And to really feel that this is the actual beginning of true happiness.
다디 뒤도 세부 쇼차차 아니 라라라가 타고는 스베 탐데 집어내 마슈네 다 간제 집어내 마슈네 아니 지금 쇼한테 아니 지금 되게 고소도가 지라 탐제 개발도요 아니 지금 되게 투주에는 체메시가 똑바 탐제 라시 심제 탐제 줄에 개발 중수 선사차.
And that we have also received all of the conducive conditions to being able to practice such as a long life free of illness, etc. So now again, following our supplication on using the four immeasurable thoughts, again this inspires the figure of Shakyamuni Buddha to emanate a 5-colored nectar light again, and this time with the golden yellow light predominant, entering in through the crown of myself and all sentient beings, and bestowing the blessing of the Buddha's body, speech and mind, so that we are fully kind of have the ability to realize the potential of realizing the 4 immeasurable thoughts. And so really having celebrated this wonderful outcome, we thinking of the qualities of the Buddha, now place our mind single-pointedly on the figure of the Buddha using fixed meditation.
된대게 가서도 지금 나라도 검대 덤바대 아니 배 나라 라신 게 매번 삼삼차
나라
라신 게 봐봐 덤바대 덤바샤자 두바다 천상의 견대가 되는 나와데 이내 라신 거 두바 뒤sam이야 매 삼삼차 나라 라신 게 매봐 돈이기 삼도 도수야 버체체.
And so that this figure of Shakyamuni Buddha that we are fixed on, that we are meditating on, it does not exist in the way it appears. It lacks any inherent existence and is merely imputed.
심지 탐제게도 아니 되게 컴파니도 토바쇼 산사보다 손대제발을 때네 아니 되게 꾸들라 장자 니바지 중에 아니 장게 지고 하도 내서 서서 받아져라 뭐 다가 지고 빼면 가장 고수 도무를 짜도서 어디 손대제발을 때네 장자 니바지 중에 아니 장게 지고 하도 내서 삼사자 내는다 지금 산제제 공부 마도가 봐도 심지 탐제게도 산제 공부 마도 봐도 제서 소소 가고
And again, reaffirming our dedication to do whatever we can to attain the state of enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. The figure of Shakyamuni Buddha emanates a replica body which comes to the crown of our heads as a result of our supplicating by reciting, O glorious and precious root Guru, come take your lotus and moon seat placed here at my crown, keep me safe in your kindness, and bestow on me the attainments of your body, speech and mind. And we really feel that at the Buddha's arrival and seated, facing in the same direction as ourselves on our crowns, is ready to remain steadfast in that position until we attain the state of enlightenment.
찾아와도 주셔서 제서 우리 교주사 탐제다가 자주 찍고 스타간제 지금 디바샤바다다 어떻게 수텝전 다간제 지금 찾아와도 주가 배워라 소바들 저 연락도 매대지고 또 뒤지 표현서 표현이 시에서서 시에는 대답을 투주라는 대화치 뭐 총소 대외 동바대 대화대 대동이 소유지 계속 섬잡죠.
And so and by making supplication to the figure of Shakyamuni Buddha on our crown, we engage in the offering or doing the practice of the seven-limbed together with the mandala offering, going through the process of making offerings and confession and purification of negativities, etc., in such a way that this brings pleasure to the mind of Shakyamuni Buddha, bringing forth bliss, and we witness the Buddha abiding in the meditative emptiness of a combination or a non-dual bliss and voidness.
로다 감성 코에 동에라 삼로다나 코아데 마타다 타모도서 년조지 삼로다 년조디 랑기 년조디 아니 가서데 년조게 셈티 아니 지게 가서 배마탑제치 교수 삼삼체 배마탑제치 교수 삼삼체 내가 그럼.
And so then from our mind of supplication we begin a contemplation on the suffering of cyclic existence, that the very nature of cyclic existence is one of suffering, and from that developing our understanding of renunciation, which transforms into an eight-petaled upturned lotus established at our heart center.
가서 연조대 다가네 저 심지어 감성게 심지어 탐제자 아니 그 란다 고군의 서와는 동에 끝나서 삼로다네 아니 대달의 미베 닝제 제 삼로다 대다 동에 교체부터는 지금 저와 쇼지 삼삼다 아니 대다게 아니 동에 교대 저와지 아니 다게 저와지겠어 다게 저와지겠어 이것도 제가 주는 심지어 탐제자 심지어 찍을 동에 제 누가 매들 다들 수라도 심지어 탐제도 산제 고마 데라도 안데 심지어 탐제 산제 고마 토바치기 셈지 셈디 아니 다외 긴고지가 교수 삼삼차.
And in contemplating on the basis of that renunciation, not just my own suffering, but indeed the fact that all the sentient beings in the three realms of existence are similar to me in that they are also suffering, and how wonderful it would be if they could be free from suffering, may they be free from the suffering and the causes of suffering. I will see to it that it is so. O Guru Shakyamuni Buddha, please bless me to make this so. And in this way we generate a sense of this profound, great compassion. And from that compassion comes the realization that I must indeed try to do this for myself, the special intention of taking personal responsibility to go and do this, only to thereafter realize that I don't have the ability to actually complete or to fulfill what I so desperately want to now, and that who has that ability? The Buddha, the state of enlightenment. And so I vow, I pledge to attain the state of enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. And that mind of bodhicitta, that mind of enlightenment, is represented by and transforms into the moon disk, which sits on the upturned lotus. And so then, by recalling this vow to attain the state of enlightenment, I will attain the state of enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. But that I lacked any objective existence, and it is merely imputed by thought. And it is this lack of finding any inherent existence that we try to focus on with our fixed meditation now. And from that mind of not finding the object of negation arises the sun disk representative of emptiness.
What are the ninga payment tension karichibo kuzu to consider tendeke and rangi chibo tomba shaja to bateta and ma ninga kadur gentane and ma genta and rangita kachita chig kasode chibo ma chene tabi kasu che and nibe kasu and shu sube kasu but tendo shuna ta sanje komba mato go pato and chikasota chig tendo shu samsapche.
And so then, having prepared our seat at our heart center, we recite, O glorious and precious root Guru, now come take your lotus and moon seat at my heart. Keep me safe in your kindness and bestow on me the attainments of your body, speech and mind. And this recited 3 times. The first time begins the journey of the Buddha through our crown down through our central channel. With the second recitation, the Buddha comes to rest seated on the lotus, moon and sun seat at our heart center. And at the completion of the third recitation, we have the certainty of the Buddha remaining steadfast there at the very center of our being until we attain the state of enlightenment. How wonderful this is to be cared for, to be looked after by the Buddha until we attain the state of enlightenment ourselves.
Tembe shua dela temba rangi enda kasode ninga khatula ta nebala tene ani chige rangi ta kasode chige kasode ta toame bes tipata bacha de chipata de bacha de chapa tsrimba wegi nawege ta khane rangi tipata chipata ta kan chetu bana padu chuju ne nasa kange tonge semge tonge lugi tonge la sobata tonge khate chibe ta yoma to bacha yoba de kapan e bacha.
And so we have the certainty then with the the leaves coming up to enfold the figure of the Buddha at our heart center, and from there within emanating, such powerful, all-pervasive light throughout every single cell of our body. we have the certainty that all of our obscurations and all of our negativities have been completely purified together with their imprints. All our self-grasping, self-cherishing has been purified together with the imprints. All the causes to might give rise to any illness, whether physical or mental unhappiness or misery, again are completely and utterly eradicated, and even their imprints no longer remain.
그래서 양이 당 되게 마삼부터 어머 아이 우리들이 아마 소스는 수고 야 내가 술에는 양가서도 어머가 가서 자자자 봐 야라로 시작해서 하자스 마삼부터 내가 술이야 난고잖아요 어머 예다마 해도 저 다다가다 해도 그런 것도 마샤마나의 소스 안디가 나한테 되게 코드 나한테 되게 코드 와다도 수요서 나한테 되게 레우를 세트 와다도 스코는 요서 사자 다가자 산제 고마 마도 버도 야고 중소 삼사자
And again, to kind of bind this with the mantras around the petals which are enfolding the figure of the Buddha, the Sanskrit syllables surrounding that, moving around that those petals in a clockwise direction, the Sanskrit consonants in an anti-clockwise direction, and the mantra of dependent origination moving again in a clockwise direction. Feeling that, and these mantras also emanating clear light, beaming light, and that we again have this certainty of the Buddha remaining with us until we attain the state of enlightenment, and how unbelievably wonderful that is. To really have this feeling that all inconducive conditions that have hindered me from really dedicating myself to practice, such as illness and obstacles, obscurations, distractions and so on, now are completely behind me, and that this journey, this path to attain the state of liberation and the omniscient state of enlightenment has really begun for sure now. And then reflect on our own most subtle wind, representing as the main kind of like substantial cause, and the body of the Buddha acting as the cooperative conditions, and they're combining for our body to transform into the enlightened body of a Buddha. And through the combining of the our own most subtle mind as the substantial cause and the mind of the Buddha as the cooperative conditions, our own mind is thereafter transformed into the enlightened mind of a Buddha. And seeing ourselves as indivisible then from the Buddha, from our own navel, visualizing the atom from which emanates heat upwards through the central channel, which brings down the Bam syllable from the crown, and their meeting at the heart center produces this sense of heat and bliss, from which then we rise from using the wisdom of non-dual bliss and voidness and abiding in that. And this is how wonderful too to be able to abide in the non-dual bliss and voidness, and from this our place, place transforms into a pure realm.
아니 지 냐와 이다 든주 미 하마 이다 냐와래 냥갑 접게다다 이다래 이다 미다 뭐 보여라 든주래 든주 미다 다 미다 미 미다 요 인자 아니 하마 이라 수가 가 셈제 탕제라 봐저 폰 요새 포를 때는 대다 탕제 토마메 봐서 뒷바다 뒷바시다 개바도 라지는 다지 바샤트가 장시다네 언때에 거기 주소 삼삼체 내 대개가 외도 주네는 다비신 주소 삼삼체.
And so, seeing ourselves as a fully enlightened being, we emanate countless rays of light from our own center, entering in through all of the different realms of existence, through the 18 different categories of hells, through the different categories of hungry spirits, the variety of humans and the variety of animals, and to the Asura realms, the different realms of the celestial beings in the desire realm, and indeed the form and formless realms. And the impact of that light not only transforms all of these different realms into pure realms, but also through the light entering in through the crowns of all the sentient beings therein, they purify all the negativities and obscurations, and particularly, of course, the negativities of self-cherishing and self-grasping, along with their imprints, and thereby generating all the realizations that lead them automatically to the state of a Buddha also. How wonderful that is. Having brought all the sentient beings, having completed the purpose of sentient beings and bringing them all to the state of enlightenment, how magnificent that is. And then, of course, the realization that this is only being enacted on the level of our own imagination, our own mental capacity now, but that it may act as a cause for it to quickly manifest for real in the future. And to reflect it, that the state of enlightenment, all sentient beings and myself, all lack any objective existence and merely imputed by thought. That completes the meditation. Gyatang nishut zatruk. Nekena ngapi sichana jela jegi ngo ne karangi beta ti ala yawa kaza ti zaksa. Yeah, and we go nere. Diero. Ni badi ni sharla. Diero.
Hello. 6.
How do you talk on top?
6.
Let's have the phones off while you're here, I think.
Niba shalasa korin niba la sumche. Korin niba la sum. Kiwa rimbani longju la midashi machabe. Jiba yena oda kibe de mo kala. Korin yonta de wata kajaje jiba sujin soba. Ani kasa soba sunju something sherab santa korin yonta sumura. Kiwa rimbani sa longju la midashi machabe jiba yena jiba yewa ina da jiba tang tu ye de yewa ina ani chujum song ye la dos le la to ye chujum song ye la ani chujum song ye da jiga to ba le ya da to ba le ma cha da ne ju le wa to de chujum da de ba ina ani jiga chujum da de ba ina ani jiga 다 지금 수바 냠래 제도에 다 빠져 지금 뇌제의 지면님의 수바 출랑의 제가 수바 라소바 다 같이 지금 로다 수바 냠래 로다 수바 냠래 제도에 좀 그랬어 뇌제의 지면님의 수바 용도 그랬어 가젤라 미교에 수바 요바이나 아니 디 가서 도베께 뇨야스다 어떤데 수바 요바이나 다 지금 냠래 대다다 개조에 예바디가 뇨와이 그러고 다 같이 냠래 다 수바 요바는 답변을 지서 파진 두 냠래 지엘라 냠래 샤바도 지엘라 아니 저 가서다 가세메 와치 가체드네 저도가 좀 그러와 도베 또에 게 뇨와이 그랬어 냠래 제바도 게 뇨와이 것이 뇨에 준주 좀 도가 이거 좀 뉴스 어쨌든
And so this particular outline you'll find on 236 of the outlines after 2. It says the ancillary discussion of the fixed order of the perfections. And this is simply showing how the 6 perfections begin with generosity, which is thereafter followed by ethics, then patience, and then enthusiastic effort, and then meditative concentration, and then wisdom. And that there's a reason to this. For example, when we look at the quality of generosity, in which we kind of now are more disregarding objects of use so that there doesn't follow any attachment. So we reduce the attachment to them, which is a kind of symptomatic of generosity. This facilitates our taking up of ethical practice, and that when we kind of really restrain ourselves well from engaging in negative activity through abiding in ethical conduct, then we are more ready to generate the patience which is going to be able to put up with harm and so on. And as a result of our kind of training, cultivating that sense of patience, then we're not discouraged by difficulties, hardships, and inconducive qualities that all the different aspects of patience allow us to cultivate or facilitate the cultivation of. Then the conditions for rejecting virtue are fewer, reduced. And that, of course, is very kind of characteristic of enthusiastic effort, that which rejoices in virtue. And
수좀 가가지고 다 수좀 나래 다 이래서 뭐라 빨리 제가 있는 다 수좀래 준주 뜻도 거거든요. 준주되다 도스 가가지고 다 준주되는 엔테네 다 땡게지 다 그러다 개발을 좋아하시 뭐 이번에야 지금 땡게지 거 쓰도야 도스 가가지고 다 땡게지 나래 다 가자 지금 가서 다 지금 가서도 돈이 도배 다 가서도 돈이를 미배 다 신내도 딜레 도스 가가지고 또 롤 슈도스 가요 맞다. 어떻게 이제 라파를 삼았다네. 그 도당다래도 봐. 도당다래도 다 진짜 아니 이번에 지금 집발 때네. 집에 냠래 야고 좋아이나. 근데 추중의 냠래 지에 슈데. 추중의 냠래 야고잖아. 아니 준주를 슈트해지. 준주의 냠래 가르가서 야가 줘. 저게 땡게즈는 슈트해. 땡게즈의 냠래 가가 야가 저게 아니 돈이 도 베시라를 슈트해지. 그 도당다래도 봐. 조당 뒤에서래. 조당 뒤에서래. 이내다 강가를 지단 저거 배는 집아 탈지마 용하라. 되게 그가 참고로 와. 되게 그가 참고로 왔다. 파진 누가 참고로 집아 탈지마 용하라. 누가 참고로 와. 어떻게 다 이제 다 집아도 주변도 수박하게 있네. 그가 탈지마 용하라. 그가 참고로 와.
So the point here, I think, is that when we look at the sort of more of a course presentation or analysis of the 6 perfections, we can see that in terms of the 6, the first of generosity can seem to be somewhat more easier to get into to sort of actually start the practice of. And that then from there, ethics can be a little more tricky to practice, to abide in, to protect and keep. And from that, from ethics, then you can see also that patience, to be able to avoid any reaction in the face of a harm and so on, is there something a more sort of maybe more subtle quality than abiding in ethics. And so then the actual transforming of not just reacting in patience to rejoicing in virtue, that's the definition of enthusiastic effort, seems to be of a more subtle nature, more advanced sort of practice as well. But to transform that enthusiasm into developing, for example, mental quiescence as a component of meditative concentration is seen as a more difficult skill or practice, and ultimately to be able to use that skill of meditative concentration to focus on wisdom as the sixth of the perfections is seen to be more difficult again. So in terms of difficulty, they move from easier to more difficult. But also that very reason sort of shows how each prior perfection facilitates the next subsequent perfection as well. In other words, so that when we really are practicing generosity well, that facilitates our engagement in ethical conduct. Our good practice of ethical conduct facilitates our engagement in patience. And our good patience feeds into our enthusiastic effort. Our good enthusiastic effort feeds into our meditative concentration, and our good meditative concentration facilitates what we need to do as far as the perfection of wisdom is concerned. But this is, of course, talking in terms of just very coarse presentation. We all know too that in order to perfect the perfection of generosity, all the other perfections are necessary, and this goes for each and every perfection.
냥바샤네 양다바 지다와쇼 또바 중고스다 데데데 다가자제 내가제 데레죠나 다 냥바샤네 양다바 지다와쇼 다가자제 고빈데 주 또바 중고스 또바 중고스 면초게 림바네사 면초게 림바네 나마 멤베 치마 안 초코스 라테 림바네 나만 나무세 치만 남래 주바다 잘라베 라라 치만남 나만남레 주바 자와 까베나 라라데 나만레 타와 오사 오다가제제 오다 타라케바지 샤네틱 용 초이스도 왔다 데레서보다도 나라도 다다제 거미를 자가자 오 미과 때문에 모두 다 항상 가는 거죠 레다 뭐와 미과 때문에 때문에 조고 말와 그다 그 리마코나 삼바다다 그래서 이래다 이거 모두 샤이로도 배제지고 또
And so yes, as again has been pointing out, that each prior or previous perfection sort of facilitates what comes next. And so here, looking at meditative concentration, you can see how the day and night effort, that's a sort of a robust dedication that comes through enthusiastic effort of really focusing on the virtue, really facilitates a sort of pliancy, mental pliancy that is cultivated in meditative concentration. And again, that meditative absorption, being able to abide single-pointedly on the object that we are focused on, is of course allows us to be able to see reality exactly, and that's the objective of the perfection of wisdom. So that's the outline of the order of arising. And then you see there's a subheading there, the order in terms of inferior and superior, and that this is simply that in terms of inferior, each previous perfection is seen to be kind of inferior to each one that comes later, the subsequent ones. They are seen to be as superior. And in terms of then the order in terms of coarse and subtle, and this is the point again I has been making, that each previous perfection is more coarse than what follows. It's subsequent, and indeed not just that, but that it also facilitates the engaging in and performance of what's necessary in each subsequent perfection. And so the next outline says the process of learning the perfections, and this has two subheadings: how to train in the bodhisattva deeds in general, and in particular how to train in the final two perfections. And then with regard to the first, that is how to train in the bodhisattva deeds in general, it again has two divisions. Training in the perfections that mature the qualities you will have when you become a Buddha, and then training in the four ways of accumulating disciples as a way of ripening the mind streams of others. And that this first one, training in the perfections that mature the qualities you will have when you become a Buddha, is no less than the practicing the training in the six perfections, and they are perfection of generosity, ethics, patience, enthusiastic effort, meditative concentration, and wisdom. And so, simply put, we all have Buddha nature. If we didn't, there would be no progress. We couldn't attain the state of enlightenment. But that nature exists as a potential which is ripened by our perfection of the six perfections. So that's what the six perfections do. They ripen our Buddha nature. And that, so it's not just prayer that's necessary. We actually have to practice. So naturally enough, the six perfections will be dealt with, starting with the first, that is generosity, and this has four subheadings. And the first is what is, or the nature of generosity itself. The second is the means by which we can begin the development or cultivation of generosity. Thirdly, divisions of generosity, and fourthly, a summary.
동에 서버 고바 타치소나 집에 잡내 타치스고 집에 잡내 타치스.
And so the first of these, what generosity is, or the nature of generosity, it is defined as the virtue of a generous attitude and the physical and verbal actions motivated by this. And so essentially, the generosity is the mind of generosity, the generous attitude, and the perfection of that attitude is the perfection of generosity.
배나 집바당 소소 집바당 튕겨 여바체 근데 집바당사 유에 챙이 차와지 이번에 도는 건 집바당에 그 집바당 마도에 가서 동생 매바에 차와라 집바당에 동생 여바 있냐 당 근데 동생 여바다한테 여바 있나 근데 가두이네 땅 도와지다 땅사 유당 근데 저기 땅야 소소 튕겨다 되게 차상소 아니 뒤 땅다지 임바지 이번이나 가두이네 집바당 도와 좀 가서 동생들 땅에 매서 집바당 두고 요 말아 바로 집에 땅 마도에 줘 봐. 뒤에서 동생 여바 있나? 동에 삼바 여바 있나? 아니 집에 유 챙이 창와 이마다. 아니 지금 소소리 집에 제디 여바체. 아니 제디 집바다 때네 내가 다 타도를 팬토게 집에 그 뒤에 땅 두고 와. 그 뒤에 땅 두고 다 어떻게 다 집에 계획되게 내가 있나? 그 뒤에 땅 두고 있나? 뭐저 집에 계획돼 남기 계획되어라. 남기 계획 가서는 동생들 창게 매바 있어. 아니 집에 계획 용도 왔다. 동에 삼바 그래도 다 동에서 뭐 고바 탈치소나 고바 타서는 집에 냠내 탈치스 자고 그래서 집에 냠내 탈치 발라 아니 쪼고 그거 매바 찾고요 말이야 대단은 아니 상계 좀 되다 집에 냠내 탐하진 하고 집에 다들 쪼고 열어 봐 이내 상계 좀 되다 그 투규는지 동에서 봐도 고바 탈치 뭐 이번에서 집에 냠내 탈치스 자고도 봐
And so because generosity is defined as this generous attitude, or the mind of giving, the mind of generosity, it's not a question of having, or indeed of just having all of the necessary outer conditions to be able to give and be generous. But indeed having them, the conditions, the objects, the recipients, the objects to whom we give, and so on, and that the right timing involved and so on is all very important, but they must be imbued with that mind of generosity. That saying that that if one, even if has one the materials and even the intention, but if one doesn't have the mind of generosity accompanying that, one is not perfecting the perfection of generosity. So here we can make sure that we have that mind of generosity. We give whatever we have to bring forth both temporary and ultimate happiness to sentient beings, and but understanding that it's not just a question of overcoming the obstacles to generosity externally, but it is an inner quality that must be perfected. This is what the perfection of generosity is referring to. If it was simply the eradication of poverty in the world, then the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the past could not be said to have perfected the perfection of generosity, which is illogical. So it's not that. It's actually an inner quality of perfecting the attitude of generosity within.
집바들 산생이 집바 추기 집바 다가자제 위집이 쪽이 집바 아니 잡에 집발라서 다 집바만 뭐 용거로 왔다 집바만 다다다데 조 다다 마송어도 가서나 다다데 조 송어도 다다 송어도 아니 산생이 집바다 조 마송어도 와 산생 집바다 송어도 돼서 주변 탐에서 도바 탐제에서 도바 탐제 아니 시에나 동에 삼바 닝 타반에 개고요서 개고 닝 타반에 개고요서 대라 용수 송에서 님이다 동에 평균 공고소서 다들 이마에서 아니 지바 마당전에 아니 그래서 다 지바 마당전 세나전에 손에 대바이나 안디 교원 가려 연구 유미티 지바 땅와이나 안디게 캡상 가라고 유미티 아니 다디 평균 가려 봐대 대디 대대게 아니 삼로 땅에 삼로 다 양의 양도 땅와이나 아니 지바 땅에나 도와려 버렸어 지바 땅에나 도와려 거또 수이바이바이네 캡상 치고 줘봐 이제 돼야 되거든. 다다 집어 땅 마도에 캡상을 때는 땅 두고 요 말와. 다들 땅 와는 가라 매바 쳐도 가라 경고 쳐도 가라 매바 쳐도 대대가 삼려 온게 땅 두고 말. 가서 캡상 지다 삼모 땅 거요. 이네 아니 거기 가서라다 뭔가 말이 되는게 뭐 이거 이제 좀 마통하지. 마통하 될라 때네 아니 코스나들 연구 요와.
The second of these outlines says how to begin the development of generosity. And so the means of entering into generosity. And here saying really that it's the, how do you say, the mind which can really give all of our possessions to others from the depths of our hearts, and the necessity of generating that, and this also the looking really familiarizing with the, on the one hand, the benefits of being able to give, and the faults, the flaws of being miserly, of holding on to it, and seeing the faults of one against the benefits of the other. And of course this really uncovering also the key aspect of miserliness as being an ignorance with regard to the true nature of reality, that we're not seeing things the way they really are. And so it's really uncovering that to see how unprofitable and how unhelpful such an attitude is against how beneficial and profitable it is to actually give everything.
Okay, slowly.
Oh, thank you.
다 간제 저 가서데 다 간제 저게 로다 간제 저 다 셴래 답변은 노르게 링불레스 페나 노르 롱제 저 노르게 링불레스데 아니 링불레스데 노르딜레테네 무트네 디기기 줄줄투구도다 아니 링불레스 그와 다 다다 페나 렌데가 톤에 삼로 땅바 있네 단다 소소로 유여바티 나 집바 땅와 셴라 페바 두발테네 용되게 요바 다데 이바사 다 단다 유여바데 마사체네 단다 데바데 마사체네 아니 지 가소래 다 지금 땡도 디지도에 타바다 탐지케베다 탐지케베 줄어 배주 땅 도바이나 다 노르트 닝불레스 그와다 노르트 닝불레스 그와 다 닝불레스 그와 어때 다 지메 바제는 랑기 롱제바이나 다 랑기 류소에 사면도 대삼지랬다 다 되네 좋아봐 다 지마땅 와라 때는 무트네 디기 용어가 주시도 되거든 와 이게 개바치부도 와 다 개바치부요 다 가자 문에잖아 셴라 지마땅 랑기 롱제바잖아 셴라 지바티 다 폐유 자주 동주고 채와 소치 랑기 롱제바이나 롱제 아니 다 가져서 산주 날로다 육사에 들어다 야 말이다 셴라 지발할 때는 무트네 아니 지금 롱주 용어에게 주차토에 근데 군원 야고지 개바나 타바도 탑지 개바 군원 토네 잡아나 타바 탑지 개바 줄어 줘야지 아니 내가 그때 가서다 지게나 사이트 에펙트스다 사이트 에펙트는 용토야지 용되기도 와
So taking the essence of wealth, what we have, how is that done? That we must view what we have as a kind of a capital on which we need to build, and what do we build from this capital? We need to build a true happiness. We need to build by creating the causes for the state of omniscience. And this is what is meant by taking the essence of what we have of wealth. So if I just use my money and what I have for myself only, just to maintain my body, my standard of living, this is going to exhaust that wealth and exhaust everything else along with it. What we need to understand is to be able to use and view what we have as something, as a basic capital that can lead, if invested well, to continuous happiness. And so the means by which we do that is to give it to others, to be able to part with it and give it to others. And in that way we can lay down the causes. Indeed, by being able to part with the capital that we have and give it to others, we are actually in truth increasing the benefit of that capital 100 times, 1,000 times each. And so it's greater than anything we could otherwise gain materially. And so when if I keep it for myself, well, you can forget about being able to continuously experience happiness on that basis, but even forget about the attainment of the state of enlightenment as well. How we benefit from what we have, of course, in each act of giving, it depends on the motivation with which we give as well. So, if we can give with the mind of enlightenment to attain the state of enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings, and keep that as our singular motivation in every act of generosity. And so that is the main purpose for which we are giving. But even so, as a side effect, we will guarantee or ensure that we have conducive conditions for our practice in the future.
어디를 용대도 다들 난 하도도 다 지금 가서도 다다 소소 나와 유어바데 유어바래. 이는 남치면도 소소 나와네. 저야 이마다 다 줘봐. 저야 이마 다 줘서도 다들 예배 걸로 집바 땅도나 아니 너기니 불래 되지. 아니 저게 가서도 다 남치면도 매바 차도래. 아니 매바 차वे니까지 아니 그 너기 니불 내 마도 와잖아. 아니 라반에 쇼트에 소치. 라반에 매바 차도야지. 또 담아배나 벤조 가제 쳐보이네 시조들 소스 매바 차차래. 좋아. 벤 양점부도 와. 벤 차차는 거들. 벤나 소스 부구스가 자와 시우치로다. 부자와체, 로바체, 약조체, 펜도체. 다 소스가 뭐 마신 거지. 야나 소스로 내가 개겐지 뭐 이나? 이거 펜도 맞지야 상무시 당시 무슨 레고도 와. 얘네 내가 개겐데 시제 소스 부고를 내서나 개 부고를 해서지 개 전부 찌잖아. 아니 소스 규자라 건가? 대대대 그러다. 펜도 소스로 내가 개겐 소스 자지. 아니 시소나 개와 가발라면 하고요 말아. 지금은 소스 부고를 개로 다 부고를 개고 예 부고서 짜 전부 쉬워 찌잖아. 영대가 요라. 다 소소 개 전부 찌사지야. 배 자이 부고를 개네. 자이 부고를 소소 막아서 부고를 개. 야들은 딱 보제네. 이게 좀 미세 고고 당되게 있어. 나라서 몽보 말이 봐. 여봐 인사. 몽배 온게 뭐유 내주 마시말 때는 고고 태제네. 아니 다다 녀가 툭제네. 그래서 나라서 그 하고야 되다 세요 봐. 아니 곧 제 여봐 인사 타는 자네 디 맞으면서 지된 거 조단 제가 이나다 어떻게 니 개침부 쉬우지 소소 자데 니리게 소소 년문에 소소 파마나서 봐 시전 소소 자이 김리게 아니 자이스 당부체네 지 그거 당되기도 와 들라들라 편바 좀 맞도 좀 되기도 와 연구열
So it's especially important that we are practicing generosity now, when we are still compass, when we are capable of. It will all be too confusing and too late at the time of death. And however rich we are, is irrelevant at the time of death. We must all leave it behind. And so, it's very curious, this process of, passing on one's wealth and so on, that, we have, in general, parents have great love for their child, want to benefit their child, want to leave everything to their child and so on. But, you can have a great enemy in life, and have, really their arch enemy. They pass away, but then they are reborn as your own child. So you're, in your ignorance, just seeing them as your child, how precious, how much love you want to pass on to this child, to give them everything. Whereas if you knew them as your enemy, you wouldn't be giving them anything, from the way you knew them before. So this is a common occurrence. We are very limited in what we perceive in people, like who really is enemy, who really is friend. And that both can die. The friend can end up as an enemy next time round. The enemy can end up as your beloved child next time round. And so it's kind of farcical in a way. And that
소소 파마 동전에 야 소소 마가사 자디 김리게 아니야 문제는 소소 파마로 와.
And so your parents die. They're born as an enemy, some sort of a neighbor that you dislike in the next life. It's all very highly deceptive, because we're operating from such a limited knowledge and limited perception. And this is this is something that we need to take into consideration.
지금 나라도 지된 게 조단티 이게 전부서 다가랑을 줘나 그거 쉬우테 되기도 와. 그거 쉬우테 되기도 와. 다 되네 이 맞아. 서바고 양보자. 이나 수라 이내야. 안지 페바 두고 해서 페바 강도 두고 와이나. 아니 너기 님부들 두고 와.
And to really take as a rule that in sense of the worldly life, that is indeed so deceptive. It is really something that is constantly pulling the wool over our eyes in a way, and that we just to be able to keep one's mind always on what is the way in which I can benefit, and if I have materials, if I have wealth, to be able to give that and to be able to benefit others in that way, to know that in doing so I am taking the very essence out of that wealth.
지금 부고 매바이네다 셰바된들 편도들 오늘 강에 요와 로화 제토에 소설 제 통계 파절을 지사기 유다다에서 상대도나 안디야 통하면은 진짜 와게 선제를 안디를 편바 주겠지 안디를 소설 녀이나다 소설을 막아가 지게나다 소설을 가부 지게나 개발 매바잖아 소설을 지금 통계 주 여바이나 나 매바이나는 요거 근데 통계 주투가 쇼서는 몰럼 주제 잡잖아 그다 몰럼 주제 잡잖아 어떻게 배수 지지.
And so, in terms of course, it's natural that we want to give the very best to our own children, to benefit them in every way, but not just to put them in the kind of a narrow category of my child, but rather that they are a kind mother, sentient being, and to make that sort of dedication to not just benefiting one child, but all sentient beings. And indeed, in terms of any kind of act of generosity in that regard, whether we're kind to others who have problems, who have difficulties, that we are not just helping out one other, that we are really practicing to benefit all sentient beings, and we want to dedicate it towards the benefit of all sentient beings. And that this goes for our friend, enemy, neutral, and so on. And that even if we haven't got the means by which we can help financially or materially, that we still make that prayer to be able to be of benefit to them in the way that they want as quickly as possible.
아니 먼저 로봇의 편바 제고 좀 제대 제체 마긴 좀 제, 이게 좀 제게 제게 뭐 제체 마긴 섬체제 아니 좀 제게 편바 되지.
And what is the reason behind, what is the logic behind our giving to all? It's simply that they are kind mother sentient beings. They have been greatly kind to me. And in this way, I am indeed trying to pay back all that kindness.
디 중앙 인바이나 디 중앙 데데가 삼로 톤의 중앙 인바이나 아니 저거 지바다에라 쪼나로야 가시 쪼시 용해. 그러와 가시 쪼시 용해. 엔다서 지바 지에데 심제 탐제도 산제 고마토베치도 디치도 지베 파제가 냠네 타치바 지고도 지베 파제가 냠네 타치바 지에 체도 미 지바다 그 유에 삼삼치.
And so, if we can give like that with that sort of perception, then of course that it of course we can more likely give with a mind of great delight, with great joy in the act of giving. So that of course then will fuel our desire to give more and more and more, and that to be able to give to really feel that we are giving to give to all sentient beings, to be able to on the basis of that generate a state of enlightenment, to be able to benefit all sentient beings, and in this way we are engaging in the perfection of generosity.
집에 빠지는 냠래 다 집에 치는 게 집에 친구 위해서서. 그 맞잖아. 먼저 로봇 제바 있네. 간zam선에 아니 로봇 지금도 소소 구셔 맞잖아. 로봇 진이 맞죠 맞죠. 그래서 코랑 게 체도 지구 위해서서 나와쳐도. 이거 뒤에 맞잖아. 산게 고마토베 체도 지구 위해서서잖아. 아니 소소도 다 자기도 와. 소소도 다 자기도 와. 그렇아. 아니 코 구셔도 개체 뭐 말아 봐. 코랑 땡큐 개체 뭐 말해. 그래서 내가 제거에 심지어 탐지를 산지에 고마 뒤체도 집에 빠진 냠네 타치 버리고 근데 집에 빠진 냠네 타치 버 용한 체도 지금 위해서 엔데데 임베자 집에 당사 유도 소소를 빼자지 못 차도 소소를 개체 못 차도 집에 당사 유지 매바이나 집에 빠진 냠네 제도고 못도 어디서 집에 당사 유다 하자고 랑이 집에 냠네 제 계획이 잘도 집에 냠네 제사 계획이 있었어 그래 그보다 지금보다 되게 되겠지.
And so there are times when we maybe help a friend or somebody in need, and they don't show the necessary appreciation, and we feel that we have been disrespected and not appreciated enough. And that's it shows that we haven't got the right motivation for what we're doing. And that shouldn't be any part of our practice of generosity. And here I'm concentrating on perfecting the perfection of generosity. In this sense, I'm engaged in a very important and essential practice to attain the state of enlightenment to benefit all sentient beings. So no thank you is necessary, no respect is necessary. In fact, the person who is on the receiving end of my generosity is facilitating my practice or perfection of generosity, my laying down the causes for enlightenment. And that's something I need to, on top of appreciating the opportunity, appreciate their amazing kindness. They are like a precious teacher for me, allowing me to perfect the perfection of generosity. So they are incredibly important in that respect. And so they're like collaborating with me, like as an associate with me to be able to perfect the perfection of generosity. And therefore they are so essential, important, and so precious, like a really precious teacher.
There's some of John and Rangi Chibataya, she was Nubachimu. Shem all the Jobudes of the Chibataya that Tom Jones or the Chavina, and that Joson Sava, so kept on land to Gumadua.
And so, like, it's this sort of expanded thinking around generosity lends so much power, doesn't it, to the act of generosity, each individual act of generosity itself. It becomes quite extraordinary, as opposed to, I'm giving to the person who is poor, in a way you're like already looking down on that person. And that all you get from that is a loss of some coins and no benefit at all.
What is that? Today you was a La Robert your day, check where you said Sunday comatulation to you, but what did it? And Koran Jobo number 10, Haja didn't you much. Jobo number Madena, which you stay, Yagaba, which you Madena, which you tell. Which you tell, you choose the Pedro, you get which you just not the Vasha Maracol, which you was table. In a Jobo number taken was a Lella or a Chibena chair. Koran, we knew stable in a Koran castle, Chibu. And the Koran Jobo number of the Haja teacher for something, Chibena Chiela, and you got 2 years of Chagua.
And so, from that point of view, to say why do we give to the poor, to those who are bereft? It is in order to attain the state of enlightenment, and that once we have that, locked in, then those poor are arising in the aspect of those who are offering me an opportunity to create the causes to fulfill that goal. As such, not just essential, but incredibly kind from their point of view, to give me the opportunity. Poor, those who have not, those are my electorate really. Those are the ones who I can give to. I can't give to the rich. They're no good to me. And even if I could, I'd only be able to give a small amount, which is certainly not going to cut it as far as they're concerned. That's not good enough from a rich person. They want a large gift. But from the point of view of poor people who have nothing, even a small amount can bring a lot of joy. And so therefore they are offering me priceless kind of opportunity to generate merit.
What is it? Because Naranzo, the Union Tonduich, Casola, the Union Tonduich, Juana, and so to church with together, Union Tondu, Joina, and so the Capas land to
And so this is simply to really inspire us to see the quality in our practice of why we're engaging in a certain practice, and to see how many positive, conducive qualities there are to this practice. We need to kind of gain the benefit out of what we're doing.
So I give you the Gaga on the Mayimbajan. Simply Tamjak no Sanjay Komatongo, each of the Luts, each of the Lut the Tango. Because Rangi church with Twingle Bejutama Yamada and a Shengi Ched Bejutama Chibajari. So Bejutama when a Tangda Jorba. Stam was a Kalasa, Kalasa, or Kala de la Kabu, China Kabu, and Santa Saga, Inea, can't to the Lord you are Tangen. Simja Tamjak no Sanjay Komatobachi, teacher the Lut the Tango, Sem the Tango, and teacher the Nege, Tajic to Lola Soba, and Kalala Soba, the Saya, Desa ticket, teacher to use some subject, and count to the teacher the Rango Lunga is count to the teacher the Pejutan to watch, Yamne count to the Jetuba Yina. Dear Shella Chibaturi Rangi the chicken, the Chada Shadan, the country only long Cheva Yina. 다른 경우 좀 좋아되기도 이 멤버들 되자다 시행하다 컨트롤해서 봐 온도 되게도 이 매버서에 쳐도 근데 배주 당와이나 이 매버서는 심해 주베로 와
Yes, so to constantly reflect on the benefits of the mind of generosity, and to also really, when it comes to even using the kind of like our own resources for ourselves, to be very certain that we are not doing so out of a mind of attachment, and to kind of really leave attachment out of it. When it comes to what we use in terms of ourselves. Like, well, of course, we have to eat, but not to kind of be so particular about wanting like delicious food, special gourmet food and so on. But understand that, yes, it's nice to have nice tasting food. What's the purpose of eating is to keep my body fit. What's that for? It's to engage in spiritual practice, to be of benefit to others. And that's always the sort of thinking that we need to imbue in our when we're sitting down to eat, and that goes for the clothes we wear, the house we live in, all our facilities. To say this all should be facilitating our practice. That's the main point of our lifestyle, that it facilitates our being able to benefit others. And so this is all of like to also ensure that we can get the best out of ourselves, right? To be able to, okay, I need to eat, I need to wear clothes, I need to have a good place to live, and so on. To get the very best out of ourselves in that regard, to have that focus on the attainment of enlightenment for the benefit of all. How do I do that? By, for example, perfecting the practice of generosity and so on. So it can't be just for kind of our own purpose alone, because in that way it may only feed into our attachment, desire, our anger, and all the other mental afflictions. And so therefore we need to make it more manifestly clear for ourselves that when we are in kind of sustaining life, when we are kind of like in all that we need to sustain life, that we are doing so in order to minimize the influence of such attachment and aversion, etc., etc., and even to ultimately eradicate attachment and aversion and so on. And this is something that we need to remind ourselves of.
지다는 것도 답변은 지게를 검시 어숙서보다 소수 톱당 라이트 수술리기도 예 톱당스 지당 톱당 지당 거래 이내양 톱당도 녀몽배 저주고도 저거보다 뒤에 삼당 거야지 저기도 와 톱당에 링해도 개쳐버려 나 좋아 미래 제대로 난 남발이 제대로 나 택받치 뭐래 네 링해 가래 랭게는 개치슈샤 당부드샤 이 개치모르도
And so I hear a lot in the West about rights, and rights are very kind of front and center in so many ways. Everybody is really demanding their rights, and yes, certainly rights are necessary, rights are important, but to what extent do they facilitate the mental afflictions? This is the question that we must ask. If that is the case, then we have to really say that there's something not quite right about such rights. What's more important to concentrate on over rights is really what responsibilities do I have? What responsibilities do I have as a human being? What responsibilities do I have as a Buddhist? What responsibilities do I have as a Mahayana practitioner? This is what is more important to concentrate on, and that this really will, I think, ensure that the rights that we need and have are not abused into mental affliction.
디 개침으로 디 예와 치고 속속 라와서 와제 라와 톱당서 저 톱당디 녀모라 톱당 고기 입에서 차바이다 디 차바이다 아니 녀모라 잡죠 지금 차다 라와 내 차버다.
And so, yes, it's not important to make the distinction between rights and responsibilities, and that if one is very much a person who is constantly fighting for their rights, it's questionable as to whether they're fighting for their rights or fighting for their mental afflictions. Like, is this something that's really supporting their sense of self and their mental afflictions rather than a genuine need?
근데 이면서 알아서 디기 되게 쓰겠는데 뭐지 수입 바이나 톱당 쪽에 디기가 좀 쏘고요. 뭐지 디기 되게 인사베도 디기 머신에 계시 못도. 엔 디기 개가리미디. 치낭 상에 개가리미 디가 다 하고 바지 계시 못도. 디기 하고 바이나 아니 디기 갑자기 자두고도 디기 두개 갑자기 자두고도. 디메나 알아서 디기 삼는 거야 돼. 동네의 교지 좀 대대해서 차대기도 와. 근데 나라도 디토를 그리지 뭔가 세고다. 그렇게 세고 싶어요. 디추 계좌 말에 나베 추 계좌 말에 그 뭐여기 내주도 신고도 와. 뭐여기 내주도 신바이나 아니 신바이나 아니 뭐여기 내주도 튜베 돈에 디기 좀 두고 와. 그래서 디기에서도 그 유다 겔러라 기도 그 뭐여기 리다 튜베 돈에 좀 게도 미팅 받지 아니 랑기 디기 레와 잡다나 아니 똥바 차오라. 그 메시지를 채대 버 미지 채고는 미디 여사들 채고는 미 메시지를 채는 미디 니가 말와. 뭐다 디기대 여사들 채고는 메시지를 채는 디기 지금 말와. 다 뒤에서 지금 그 가서다 뭐 여기 내주도 신고도 와. 그죠?
And so, yes, in what rights are worth establishing for ourselves? Well, the right to happiness is a good one. Yes, we all desire happiness, and that, but in wanting to establish that right of happiness, it's important to really understand what are the obstacles to happiness. What are the outer obstacles? What are the inner obstacles? What are the secret obstacles? And to really know those obstacles and to be able to oppose those obstacles, to counteract, those obstacles. This is very important to being able to establish true happiness for ourselves. Because if we don't proceed in this way to gain knowledge with regard to how that happiness that we so desire is established, we will, instead of establishing happiness for ourselves, and we can all attest to this, we only establish more suffering, and that's all too common. And so this is not a Buddhist matter. This is not a spiritual matter. It's actual reality, really, isn't it? And so, if in terms of like cause and effect, if you want happiness, you have to establish the causes that are in harmony with that desire, with what you want. If you don't do that, if you're like trying to establish causes that are not harmonious with what you want, with the result you want, then you can't be surprised that happiness is not happening for you. And so it's really important to be able to take this kind of logical approach. And if you want happiness, lay down the causes for it.
세월아 뭐서 말아 점블링 디 나로라다 점블링 디 중한테는 미 좋아 중네 다 디기 다다부터 세대로 이네 디기 세가 열때 디기 뭐죠 가라 디가 난 욕다 망다 가봐 이네 욕다 용대지 욕다 용대 가르쳐서 뭐서 유지 너대고 열었다 뭐잖아 너대고 열었다 그래 다 디기 체도 소소 수교가 체도 락자 망부 쓰고 열에 아니 다 지리가서 체리가 내서 야제 쉬고 치는다 그저 좀 배주지 땅와 있나 배 zambuling 배 다른 가서 저 초라 줘야 다 배, 니버 친구 된데 쓰. 다 가자. 이제 다 동네 세다고 지금 이렇게 잘 와다. 딜에 동네 세게 탑시 이렇게 잘 와다. 가서 가가 탑시가 너네. 탑시가 너네 줘야 돼. 다른 거 동서 강에 대체로. 다들 zambuling 나로라. 역다 가서 요것도. 좋아. 배나 김장 소소 나는 역다 가서 요것도. 좋아. 나는 다 역다 강가 치사 가서 탑시 너네 제. 이게 그런 탑시 통고요. 다디 역다 매봐서 해. 탑시 통고요. 다 이래 너를 인바해서 역다 딜이 쳐줘 되지. 영어 딜도.
Yes, so this is the actual reality of things, you know. This is the way the world runs. You know, it's like it's really extraordinary. This sense of like you know, the kind of like the process of human development. You know, this sort of constant obsession with happiness, looking for happiness. Everybody wants it. Everybody desires it. It's there out in everybody's face all the time. Searching for happiness, searching for happiness, and but what has eventuated? Look at the development of the world over millennia. You know, it's kind of like those who have then have to create whole systems in place to protect that, weapons and attacks and so on, and all this scientific development, all for the purpose of happiness. But instead, it's created just so many other divisions of trouble and hardship and pain and suffering. So there's something really kind of really disastrously wrong in the methodology here. You know that yes, there's all sorts of new ideas and all sorts of methods, but they're wrong. They're incomplete, and so that sort of attitude doesn't work. So, and then indeed, not only does it not create happiness, but so much of what has been made and created in the name of happiness has only created more trouble, more suffering, and more misery. And again, just pointing to the fact that even in sort of like domestic households, you know, there's so much angst, so much trouble. So much pain as well. So there's something faulty in the methodology. There's something incomplete in the approach, and this has to be really admitted.
직지 이지 요마데 직지 이지 스리 계속 주제도 이지다 지금에도 가바이네 캠era 주고에 바제 주고에 로아 다베나 가바 태블링 제외나다 백다도 시부치 딱지 제고에 아니 지금 다 지금 말 가서도 투자 약보들 쓰는 백도 다 딱지 제만 못 왔다 그래서 스크린 제 따에 막 보는 것도 와다 게도 니마 지금 남도 나도 라빨 작다다면 쪼서를 된 거예요 남도 나 조겐 간가 라빨 지금 록점 쪼고에 차이 내가 또 와. 그래서 샘도 두마도 차도 와. 이 노래가 되네 정으로 와. 와, 노래가 샘 두마도 샘 영어에 생활 주는 용되게 열어. 노래가 되게 가. 샘 두답지 제마도 왜 이나다. 노래 차더라도 와. 이게 다 남는 좀 쉬운 거고도 와. 다 니마 지다 샘모 바에 집에는 땅에도 와. 샘모 바에 가서 닐카터. 닐카터 양전에 백날 주나? 되게도 와. 다 된적이 다 이지요 말아. 단지 니마 저 라빠라 짜담네.
So we can see that where does all this kind of mistaken methodology or faulty methodology brings us to the state we have now, where there's so little trust in the world, you know, that you know, you can't go anywhere without having your picture taken by security cameras, your bag checked at every other thing at the airports and so on. That you know, this constant screening of to authenticate who you are, to validate who you are. There's absolutely zero trust out there in people. That and that's because of no control over the mind. There's no mind control, and that you know, this a lack of trust. It's going to the point where now you can't bring a nail file onto the airplane if you're traveling. It's going to get to the point, again, as I says, quite soon, where we'll actually be handcuffed on the plane. So that we guaranteed not to cause any trouble.
개치시 요작은 그래 요새 되는 쌤 마디와는 연구도가 쌤 뒤답기 로좀 되는데 또 공부로 와. 난 냠내 지금 공부로 와.
So important, isn't it? So we see that we're in this state because of the lack of control of minds, that there's nobody being trained to control the mind, no one practicing how to control the mind.
그래. 난 당연히 쌤 뒤답대 로제 쪼어대 출루고 납자를 영어 되게 요래. 다 출루서도 야 이제 지금 요러 와. 다 내가 줄 내려 와.
And so, indeed, where has been the kind of like the institutions are, the ways in which that mind training was done in the past. It was within the spiritual traditions, the religions of the world. But now, every kind of has this aversion towards religion as kind of like a thing that is passé and dangerous. And so that's very dangerous in terms of any mind control. Everybody wants to keep their distance from religion. So that side of goodness, what we need to do is to be able to have instruction in and training in all at that side of what is good, what is wholesome. And so it's very dangerous at this point, where we consider the children of the world, which is our future, that the kind of education they're getting is, very, very limited, and indeed very much focused on how to earn money, and that this is creating in their minds the importance of money, the preeminent importance of money in their lives, and there's no attention being played to the flaws of kind of mental affliction, that what is very inconducive in terms of the mind states that are harmful. And so without that sort of attention being paid to what's negative in the mind, that these children are growing up to think of their negativities as their rights, as their freedoms, as what must be promoted. And so when you have this combination of I want to earn more money and this all being my rights and my freedoms, then it's kind of going to bring great trouble to the world. So it's very dangerous. If you reflect on this well, it's quite dangerous. So let's leave it there for today. Sorry, I didn't get very far with the text. I'm going to do our Lam Rim prayer. From my two collections, vastest space that I have amassed from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds' wisdom eye is blinded by ignorance. Even if I do not reach this state, may I be held in your loving compassion for all lives, my Jushri. May I find the best of complete graded paths of the teachings, and may I please all the Buddhas by my practice.
Using skillful means drawn by a strong force of compassion, may I clear the darkness from the minds of all beings, with the points of the path as I have discerned them. May I uphold Buddha's teachings for a very long time. With my heart going out with great compassion, in whatever directions the most precious teachings have not yet spread, or once spread have declined, may I reveal this treasure of happiness and aid. May the minds of those who wish for liberation be granted bounteous peace, and the Buddha's deeds be nourished for a long time. By even his graded path to enlightenment completed, due to the wondrous virtuous conduct of the Buddhas and their children, may all human and non-human beings who eliminate adversity, create conducive conditions for practicing the excellent paths, never be part in any of their lives, from the purest path traced by the Buddhas. Whenever someone makes effort to act in accordance with the tenfold Mahayana virtuous practices, may they always be assisted by the mighty ones. May oceans of prosperity spread everywhere. Great treasure of compassion, not aimed at true existence, and Manjushri, master of flawless wisdom, as well as Vajrapani, destroyer of hordes of demons without exception. Sankalpa crowned all the sages of land and snows, Losam Dragpa at your feet I make requests.